We left off at the what I call the abyss. We just finished yellow, and I don't think we unlocked a new color, so we shall see what this episode will be about. We're just servicing back up. Watching the cutscene again, the person who screamed had green hair just like us. The butterflies are black here instead of red. Someone's sleeping. You see the hand position? It's like the funeral inside the casket. What happens if I sing here? Should I go left or right? Oh, I think I have to go left. This is hair. Oh, is this like the beginning? When everything was falling apart? This is the hand. Let's sing. That was such a pretty cutscene. It rivaled the beginning where she sang and then the statue fell apart. But now it looked like the statue was able to sing back to us after we restored all the color. That was really pretty. I wonder what connection these two characters have. The statue girl and the character we're playing as. Yeah, it looks like everything has been colored in again. Now we're harmonizing together. I have so many thoughts. I just need to piece everything together. So I'm gonna let these credits play as I listen to the music and think. And thank you for the great game. We have finished the game. You can now load previous chapters and visit the gallery at the extras menu. I will definitely check that out. Alright, so I found where the extras are, and they're right here. So we got chapters, gallery, and music. Oh, what is this? Are these like some early sketches of what the game is going to be about? So she's on top of hills. This is the red sun, so this would be in the red area. It's constellations, the moon. Also still looks like it's in the desert. These are the green. Right. It's got the forest. And you see how there's some red in here, because by this point you would have unlocked red. So red and green. This looks like more closer towards the end game, as opposed to just the sketches. You already can see the square branches. Got a hand. This is also in the desert. Looks like she had like a different outfit. Like in the old sketches, she had like a shawl with like a different design. You see eyes on it. Whereas this is more just a black dress. Still always had the long legs. This is green and red. Like a green tree in that red first environment in the sandstorm. It looks like she had white hair, or at least they hadn't decided on the color for the hair yet, because at the end they went with like a greenish blue. Once again, looks like it's in the forest. Now this is what was the color? The one with the bird. I forget which one that was. That might have been green, the end of green. With the bird. Definitely red. I love the color of this red too, because it's like reflecting the sun directly there. There's the red hand. The vines attached. The forest. This is the inside where the tree friends might have lived. Oh, were you inside a jellyfish? In the blue section? That would have been so cool. You rode a jellyfish or was inside of a jellyfish instead of a tortoise. Sketch of the statue lady. Yeah, here we go. Here are the old design of the shawl. So you have... Oh, I can't read this handwriting. It might just be in a different language. But you have the red, the yellow, the green, the blue, and then like a purple on the bottom. And then it looks like they went from that and then they covered her neck. And up here the color schemes. So she had white hair, then like a peach color, then a blue, then a brown. Out of all of these, my favorite is probably, for the purpose of the game, the black and white one, the second design. Because it's like a clean slate, empty slate. Black and white. Ooh, look at that third one. With the white outfit and the colored eyes. I like that one. And then ended up going just for a simpler design without the eye. Oh, cute. They have little, gives the tree friend a hug. Look at this architecture. They have the green floor where you climb when you're escaping from the bird. Yeah, this is definitely a different language. There's the bells. This is the red zone. You can see the flag. Oh, they had a, yeah, you have to map this all out because everything connects at that one part. Let's see, top left is where you, so there's the hand, that's where we fall from, I suppose. Yeah, we fall from there, and then we go to the right, and all the ruins were collapsed, and then we made it to that middle point. Wait, yeah, we made it to that middle point, and then we were allowed access to the far right, that's where we did red, and then we went back to the middle, and we started going left, so we did the trees, the tree zone, and then we did the columns, then we did the bird. We went all the way up, and then we went all the way back down, and then we went underwater and found the statue there with the moon, and then we went all the way back up, and then we went back down, and we climbed the stairway to heaven, is what I called it in my notes. I'll go over my notes after this. What is that in the top right? You see that? This looks like a horn or something. Interesting. I don't know if that top right part was actually in the game. Got clouds, it looks like. Interesting. Yep, and this is back to the first sketch. I really like going through these extras. That was really nice. And then they got the music. Oh wait, unused works? Oh, so this is the unused tracks. Okay. I'm going to let these play while I go over my thoughts. Alright, so let me turn it down. So I'm sorry if it's too soft to hear. I might boost the audio in the post-production. But so I wrote down some notes of what I want to go over to kind of organize my thoughts after the game. So my first note is my thoughts on the game. And my thoughts are I very much enjoyed the game. I loved the platforming aspect of it. I loved the design of it, like the watercolor, just the visuals. I loved the puzzle solving, and I loved the music. Those are the four key components that really made me enjoy the game. The biggest one was probably the visuals and the music. Those two were the higher points. And then the platforming was really nice. I like getting new abilities in each new area. And then the music always just went so well with whatever scene was happening. I would say my favorite color is still blue. Blue is definitely my favorite color. I loved the concept of getting new colors added to the world each time, and they kept stacking on top of each other. Let me turn that just a little bit more. And then, yeah, I like the ending being up for thought. Like, I don't know what happened at the ending when I finished. I still don't, but I have thoughts that could explain that. I like how this game doesn't hold your hand through a narrative. You have to think about it, and I'm sure there's not one true narrative. You can think of it different ways. You can interpret the meaning of the game in a lot of different ways. There's no text except the instructions to use controls, so there's no text ever said in the game. So you kind of just have to interpret this world as your own. There's no signs to read, to say. So the first thing I had in my notes I want to talk about in terms of like lore or like the story of the game is, who is our character? That's the question I had. Who is our character, and what do they represent something? Are they not a character? And I'm gonna go back to this point. This is the first question I had, and then the second question I had: what were we doing in this game? And by that I mean, like, what have we fulfilled? Like, what were we doing collecting colors? What started us having no colors? And then what happened at the end? And then the next point is going to be the meaning of the statue. I'm curious what the statue means, because we see them all throughout the game, and at first they're in pieces, and as we go further into the game they start building back up again until we get that statue again, which I think is the same statue that we fell from, and we put it back together. Then the next talking point will be the meaning of the bird and the eel antagonist. That's what I named it, because we had the bird clearly being the antagonist because it was trying to squall at us, and it would chase us down. And then also the eel was also another antagonist. I don't know if I'm forgetting one, but those are the only two I remember. And then the relationship between us and the statue is another thing I want to explore. Like, what's the relationship between us, the character we're playing as, and then the statue that kept breaking apart? The next talking point, this is a minor one, but just a presuming meaning to the singing, or what singing our character when they sung, what did that mean? And then the last talking point is going to be what I alluded to earlier, the stairway to heaven, what the constellations led to. So yeah, let's get into all these talking points to wrap up my thoughts on this nice, beautiful game. So now, let's get into my thoughts. So I didn't mention this as a question of interest, but first, before I go into who I think our character is, what we're doing in the game, and so forth, I want to talk about what I think the game is about, or like the story. So I wrote this down, so I'm gonna read it. So at the beginning of the game, I went back and looked at that first cutscene, where I'm gonna call her Gris. I don't know if it's pronounced incorrectly, Gris. I should have looked that up, but I'm just gonna call it Gris for now. I hope that's not incorrect, but we see Gris, and everything's actually in color. So that means we started with the colors, and we just lost them. So we started with the colors. Gris was sinking in the palm of the statue, looked pretty content, looked delighted to sing for the statue. And then at one point, she stops being able to sing. She holds her throat, and at that point, the statue begins to crumble, and she falls. And that's the great entry scene. I love that intro. That's such a beautiful intro with the music, and she just continues to tumble as we see the staff pop up. And then as we fall, we hit what I'm calling rock bottom. And yeah, so before I continue with my point, I think the game is about loss and moving on with loss. So as I wrote here, I said, whether it be losing something we once loved, losing to life's obstacles and moving on, losing a friend and moving on, losing hope and moving on, or losing joy and moving on. Those are like examples I came up with. So, for example, we had all of our colors in the beginning. We lost it, and then we had to slowly pick ourselves up and gather all the colors again, and we moved on. So at the very beginning, we remember seeing Gris, and she kept falling to the ground whenever I hit spacebar. She was just so sad, so defeated, and we were quite literally at the rock bottom. Everything was destroyed, falling apart. Everything was black and white. And as you saw, we saw Gris went around and got some colors back up, picked herself back up on the feet, and then she moved on. And so I think that's what the game's story or point was to express a story of losing something we loved, whether it be all those things I mentioned earlier, and then seeing what comes after that. In this specific story, I think it was about moving on from losing a loved one, because I think there are a lot of things that represent death in this game. If we look at the end, when I called it we're in the abyss, there was the statue, and she was in a casket. It looked like she had her arms folded over. She was lying down, so it looked like the statue had died. And so maybe we fell to despair because we lost a loved one. Everything crumbled apart. Everything was black and white, and we slowly got all our colors back. We accepted what had happened and moved on. We remembered all the colors that we once had, so we could continue moving on, continue living with the memories that we had of that loved one that we lost. And then also we see the stairway to heaven, which is a point I made earlier, where the constellations led up. So it may be like in the far future she would join that loved one that she lost in heaven. So yeah, that's my thoughts in general about the game, but I'm going to go into more specifics now with that big synopsis I just did. Let me go to the next song. So I asked, who is our character? Who's the main character? Well, I think the main character is whoever's playing this game, because it seems pretty pretty projective, as in, oh, if I've ever lost something and had to move on, this is my experience with that. So I think, yeah, you, yourself, whoever the player is, quite literally Gris. What are we doing in the game? We are picking ourselves back up from rock bottom and trying to get some color back into life again. And then the meaning of the statue, I think the statue is something that we once had and lost. Meaning of the bird and eel antagonist. I still don't know exactly what this means. It could very simply just be the hardships of trying to pick yourself back up after loss and sorrow and despair and all of that. And then next I had the relationship between us and the statue. It's you and loss. And then I asked what was the singing. So the singing in this case was probably just a memory. So at the beginning she had memories of singing with someone that she had lost, and then she stopped being able to sing with her after losing her. But in the end we saw that she remembered the times that they had sung together, and was able to move on from that after accepting it as a memory. So that was really sweet. As I said, after I watched that last cutscene, after that was very pretty, very pretty. And then lastly, I talked about the Stairway to Heaven, and that was the constellations we collected, and then we moved on. And in this specific case, I think we moved on to heaven with the loved one that had passed away. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Now, I haven't looked anything up. I don't know if there was an actual intended meaning to the game, so I could be completely off, but I think this type of game is very interpretive. You can interpret it to however it speaks to you, and that's how I interpreted the game. I interpreted it as a meaning of a story about the meaning of loss and moving on from that. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the game. I very, very much enjoyed the game, and I can't wait to listen to the soundtrack. I'm going to finish listening to these unused songs. I really liked the extras page as well, seeing some of the old drafts of the art. Lexi, thank you for giving me this game. I very, very much enjoyed it, and I'm curious what do you think about my thoughts on the game as well. If you have any thoughts that you agree or disagree, or just thoughts that make you like, oh, this reminds me, I think I could add on to that. I think I have some more thoughts to share. I would love to hear any thoughts you have about the game, and I hope you enjoyed watching me play through this game, because I very, very much enjoyed it. But yeah, this will be the last episode from my Let's Play of Gris, so I hope you enjoyed. Bye bye.